Hi guys, in this video I will tell you how to select the development board based on your project requirements. Okay, the development boards we will discuss in this video are Raspberry Pi and Arduino. So these are most commonly available boards. It has large community to start with. So if you are a beginner, I will strongly suggest you to go with either one of the board. So on a broad way, so the difference between Arduino and Raspberry Pi is Pi is a computer, whereas Arduino is not a computer, at least not in a way we think. Okay, if you think of a computer, you always think of your PC or laptop you have. Okay, so if you look into that terms, so Pi itself is a computer. So it is a general purpose computer. It runs on a OS, which is a Linux. So whereas Arduino doesn't have a OS in a larger term. It does have a bootloader, but you can't really compare bootloader with Linux. Okay, so Pi has a capability to do multiple things at a time. Okay, you can do multitasking with the Raspberry Pi, whereas with Arduino you can only do one process at a time. There is a way you can do multiple things at the same time in Arduino, but behind the scenes you are only doing single task at a time. Okay, so if you go with Arduino is used for simple repetitive tasks. Okay, like, so you do one thing, okay, and again come back to that thing and do it again, and it is for doing single thing alone. Okay, whereas with Raspberry Pi you can do multiple things at a time. So the Raspberry Pi project involves more processing power and it is more software intensive, whereas Arduino is preferred when your project require more hardware and less processing power. One more disadvantage of Arduino is it doesn't have any connectivity. If your project itself involves any connectivity like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, you don't have any connectivity built in with the Arduino development board. You need to choose any other shields so to add connectivity to Arduino, whereas with Raspberry Pi Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are built in into the board. You can right away use the board for projects which requires connectivity. So if you compare with the sensors, so Arduino supports many sensors, variety of sensors, whereas Raspberry Pi supports limited number of sensors. One example is Raspberry Pi doesn't have analog inputs. So if you wanna interface any analog sensor to Raspberry Pi, there is no way. You need to use another shield to interface analog sensor with Raspberry Pi. Okay, so we're gonna see two cases where we can compare when to choose Arduino and when to choose Raspberry Pi. So if your project involves switching on and off, either it is a bulb or either it is a garage door or either it is a fan, or which simply involves switching on and off. Okay, so case 1 here we're going to consider is, so sense the brightness of your room and switch on the light. Okay, that's as simple as that. Okay, you read the brightness in your room and based on the brightness you will just switch on the light or switch off the light. Okay, this is a simple task and it is a more repetitive task. Just the Arduino itself reads the brightness and based on the brightness to switch on the data or switch off the light. And case 2 also similar case. It will just read the temperature and based on the temperature it will switch on the, not the phone actually, switch on the fan or switch off the fan. So if your project involves more than that, more than switching, like if you wanna use image processing or video processing to open your door. Okay, or maybe if you're crazy enough, to open you to switch on your light, or switch off your light, or switch on something. Okay, if you wanna use image processing or video processing requires more processing power. So whereas Arduino doesn't have that much processing power. If your project involves more processing power, you're gonna go with Raspberry Pi. So if you go with case 2, so this thing to switch on the AC when you start at your office. So if you start at your office, so your phone may send your position to Raspberry Pi, which is sitting at your home. Okay, when you start, it will just switch on the AC. So when you reach home, your room will be in preferred temperature. Okay, so within this time, the Raspberry Pi is able to adjust the temperature based on the delay due to the traffic. Okay, and it can also send you the traffic updates to you automatically based on the region where you're traveling, and your project involves so automatically sending you the pet images, more like surveillance images, or maybe taking care of your pet thing, and email once in a while. This requires you to use a camera to take a picture and send it to you via email. This requires more processing power, and requires more memory also, because you are shooting images and processing video and everything. So if you want your Raspberry Pi to send you the images of your pet, the Raspberry Pi has to be connected to the internet. Okay, so Raspberry Pi itself has a Wi-Fi connectivity, so we can use Raspberry Pi there. So second example is, so let's say you decide to build a robot, small robot. Okay, one of the example is simple line follower or maze solver. So simple line follower, it will just either follow the white line or follow the black line, whatever it is. For that, it will just use 2 IR sensors and maybe ultrasonics to track to know any obstacles. Okay, so for that you don't need Raspberry Pi, because all you need is just reading the sensors data, and based on the sensors you need to drive the motors. This process doesn't involve more processing power. And whereas in case 2, if you wanna build some robot arm with Bluetooth or keypad, okay, if you just need a Bluetooth, for that you don't need to go for Raspberry Pi. You can use any Bluetooth adapters available in the market, because Bluetooth alone go to the Raspberry Pi isn't a good idea. So when you are building a robot, when to choose a Raspberry Pi? Okay, let's take a case 1. If you are building a robot that greets you when you enter your room, okay, and activated with a voice, more like a Google Home. You can integrate your Google Home or Amazon Echo with Raspberry Pi. Okay, this case 1 involves image processing. Okay, this if you want, it did take your image with camera. Okay, and second case is a robot which manages your lawn watering system, and this watering system is act according to the live weather reports on your area. So when it rains, so when it is about to rain, so it won't water the plants that day. So that required Raspberry Pi to connect to the weather reporting system in the internet. That requires the connection. Okay, to sum up, so if your project requires connectivity, high processing power, you will be choosing Raspberry Pi. If your project is simpler than that. Like it doesn't require much processing power, and it is more hardware independent. You will be choosing Arduino. If you are still confused about which development bit to choose for your project, do let me know in your comments. I will reply you as soon as possible. Thank you guys for watching the video. Please subscribe for the more updates.